He's back. And you're listening again. A legend in his own mind. Don't believe me? Just ask him. Here's Tom Schmitz live on WOCA. The Source.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks. On a Friday, we're coming to you live from the studios of WOCA Radio just off the runway at the Ocala International Airport in the Brick City, beautiful Ocala, Florida. Hey, you know, between the pandemic and changing climate norms, homes are even more our sanctuaries and our safe places now than they ever have been. Unfortunately, that's not a reality for many people across the country or around the world. They need safe, affordable housing. It's at an all-time high right now. Habitat for Humanity CEO Jonathan Reckford and Mark Bitzer, Whirlpool CEO, are joining us right now to talk about what their organizations are doing to help from a new home build site near Indiana University. It's the kickoff of the world tour to build and rehab homes. Gentlemen, good morning to you.
Morning, Tom.
Jonathan, let's start with you. What have you seen over the past year when it comes to the need for homes?
Tom, I think what you're seeing in Ocala and Central Florida is what we're seeing across the country and the world. Even before COVID, we had a huge affordability crisis. We had 18 million families paying over half their income on rent or mortgage, and then having to make unacceptable choices around giving up health, education, or food security. Then COVID actually made it worse. It drove the demand for housing up, and in many cases, incomes down. So we've seen, on average across the country, 20% increases in home prices, and of course, incomes can't keep up. So we have a true crisis in affordability now.
We have affordability issues and housing issues because we're in a shortage here in the Ocala area. Mark, can you tell us about the House Plus the House initiative?
Yeah. So, Tom, first of all, thanks for having us on your show. I mean, I know you can't see us, but I hope you can hear that we're calling from a real build site. So you hear
we can hear the hammers and everything going in the background.
Yeah,
we certainly can.
There's about 20 business students swinging the hammers at the same time, and I hope they do it better than I can do it. So anyhow, Tom, to your question, WOCA is all about improving life at home. And working with Habitat and giving back through Habitat is at the core of our company purpose. So we've been doing that for 22 years. So serve more than 110,000 families throughout the world. And this new housing home initiative, in a certain way, is a booster. It's a booster to affordable home fee because, as Jonathan was telling, affordable housing has become even more unaffordable the last year. So we got to do more. And WOCA is giving $6 million in appliances and donations to help building more homes in the U.S., Canada, Mexico, Latin America, and parts of Europe. That's what it's about.
Obviously, we've heard about the supply chain issues. Lumber skyrocketed a few months ago. Now you hear about container ships, anchored out in the Pacific, waiting to be unloaded. Jonathan, how is that affecting Habitat builds?
Tom, it's absolutely impacted us just as it's impacted other home builders. So you hit the big one. Lumber actually spiked almost 400% at the peak. It's come down, but it's still well over double what it was before the pandemic. And we've similarly seen shortages and cost increases in paint and appliances and a number of other products. And that means, first, the costs are up, and second, in some cases, it's delaying construction schedules. So it's one more thing that's hurting our ability to increase supply.
And it's just one of those things where if you don't have the wood to build, it's almost, impossible to build. With no materials, you can't get a house stood up. Hey, Mark, can you tell us about the Build Better initiative?
Yeah, Tom, utility bills are going up everywhere. Energy prices going up, water is going up. So, and of course, that cost increase hits the family most who can afford to lease, low-income families. So the Build Better is all about how we can drive more energy efficiency, actually climate resistance, and broader sustainability into affordable homes. So it can make a huge difference for the limited budget of a low-income family.
And when we talk about low-income families, Jonathan, what are we talking about as price points here?
So, it's contextual to the local market. So what's affordable is tied to the incomes in the market. But Habitat's target is to serve families between 30 and 80% of the area median income. And I think the big challenge is, when I lived in Orlando 25 years ago, a family could buy a home for about $70,000. Those houses have tripled now in cost, and of course incomes haven't kept up with that. And so that's really what we're looking for is a family ought to be able to afford a home on about 30% of their income, and that's the general national standard for affordability.
Either one of you gentlemen that want to answer this question, what is the purpose of the Habitat Global Housing Forums?
So the purpose, and we're so grateful for Whirlpool's sponsorship of our forums, is in each region we're bringing together national and regional leaders from the public sector, private sector, civil society, and academia to come up with practical solutions to increase the supply of housing and also to share best practices of what's working across the region. So it's been a very effective way of increasing good housing policies in each region of the world.
Now this is, have either one of you had the a chance to swing a hammer with our former president, Jimmy Carter?
You're talking about my hero. One of the great privileges of my life is for the last 15 years, I've spent a week with President and Mrs. Carter building somewhere in the world, and we could have a whole conversation about the Carters, but they are just such great examples of servant leadership and really putting their faith into action in a tangible way. And they didn't start Habitat, they certainly put it on the map.
You know, my formative years were in the state of Georgia, so as a person who was born in Florida but lived most of my formative years in Georgia, Georgians are really, really proud of the former president and former governor, Jimmy Carter. I'll tell you that. Really, really proud of the legacy. And part of his legacy is his work with Habitat for Humanity. Finally, guys, if listeners want to find out more information or how to get involved, where can they go to get that information?
So Thomas, Mark, I do the advertising on behalf of Jonathan. so first of all, there's habitat.org, so that you can look up the website. But, it's ultimately getting involved with Habitat can mean two things: giving money or volunteering. And I would argue volunteering is as important as giving the money. And I hope you get a little bit of sense of a variety which is going on here on the build side. You work alongside the family. The family has to himself also work. It's just amazing. I mean, you think you give something, but now you give something to yourself because it's such a rewarding experience because you know you're doing the right thing. So I encourage everybody, go out, go to some build sites. You don't need to be the handyman. I'm the opposite of it. So, but it's amazing. It's amazing to see what's going on here and how you can help people and how they can learn to help themselves.
Well, I will tell you this. When I was in college, I played college football, and in the summers, a group of us football players would get together, and we would go on one or two Habitat builds, and none of us knew how to build anything. But, boy, when it got time to stand up a wall, they really liked that we were there.
Yeah. Those are important skills, too. It is, but we so appreciate it. If your listeners, go to habitat.org, and you can learn how you can get involved and find ways both in your local area and nationally to be a part of the solution.
Well, guys, thanks so much for all you're doing to try to help with the gap, because there is a desperate, desperate need for not only affordable but sustainable homes, and you guys are carrying the torch for that. We appreciate everything you do for the community at large and the world. And, next time, let Mr. Carter know the world really thinks he's a great guy.
We would
fully agree.
We would do that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Habitat for Humanity is one of those companies that, even though I have no mechanical skills whatsoever, we would go stand up walls, Susan. They were happy to have us there because you get 6-8 guys. And when you see a Habitat for House go up because there's so many volunteers there, I mean, they'll stand up those 4 exterior walls 45 minutes, an hour, because they got everybody working on them. So you get 8-10 football guys there that can help push them walls up. They're really happy that we're there.
I bet they're
really happy that we're there. Sorry, I'm not going to be able to take your call at this time. We're about to go to a break. Call back on the third hour. You're listening to Ocala Talks, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM. This is if my mouse would work. This is WOCA, The Source.
Broadcasting from the Ocala International Airport, this is WOCA AM, W242CA FM, Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
USA Radio News with Lance Pry.
The Food and Drug Administration vaccine panel on Thursday endorsed boosters for Moderna recipients who are at risk of severe COVID-19, occupational exposure to COVID-19, or are 65 years and older. The State Department announced Thursday the U.S. will rejoin the United Nations Human Rights Council 3 years after President Trump walked out on the panel citing bias against Israel. President Biden's commission on the U.S. Supreme Court will hold a public meeting on Friday to discuss expanding the court, term limits, and more, the White House announced Thursday. Democrats are pushing for more seats after former President Trump appointed 3 justices to the court. President Bill Clinton was admitted to the University of California Irvine Medical Center on Tuesday for a non-COVID-related infection. Thursday, his staff reported the 75-year-old is getting better after getting IV antibiotics and fluids. USA Radio News.
If your family depends on your income and something happened to you, what would happen to them? You need life insurance, and SelectQuote can help you get it at a price you can afford.
SelectQuote found Jacob, 40, who's in excellent health, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for only $19 a month.
Not in perfect health? Don't worry.
SelectQuote found Tanya, 40, who has type 2 diabetes, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for only $32 a month.
We shop companies like Protective, Prudential, American General, and others to find you the company with the best rates. Give your family the security they need at a price you can afford.
For your free quote, call 1-800-885-0303. That's 1-885-0303. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-885-0303.
SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
The crops to plant in the fall for spring harvest. That's coming up on This Land of Ours.
I was probably a little bit like you. There was a lot of talk about the COVID-19 vaccines. I didn't know what to believe. And I tell you, everyone has an opinion. Some of my friends got vaccinated and some were against it. But I knew this was an important decision, so I went to somebody I already trusted, my doctor. It's your call, so talk to your doctor or healthcare provider and make the decision that's right for you. You can go to GetVaccineAnswers.org for the latest information. That's GetVaccineAnswers.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Great news, Florida farmers. The Florida legislature has passed hemp legislation allowing hemp to be grown. The alternative crop of the future is coming soon to Florida. With more than 25,000 different uses, hemp is the less water, less fertilizer, cover crop you've been waiting for. I'm Agriculture Commissioner Nikki Freed. Learn the facts about growing hemp at freshfromflorida.com today. That's freshfromflorida.com.
Overwintering is the process in which you sow seeds in autumn to harvest the following spring. Many seeds not only survive cold temperatures, but actually need a period of cold, followed by warmth, to trigger their germination process. Kale is one of the hardiest vegetables out there, and it loves to overwinter. Brussels sprouts, too. In fact, they love a cold snap and will taste even better. Treat collards and Swiss chard the same way as you would kale, and plant them in nitrogen-heavy, compost-rich soil. Give them a good mulchy blanket and let the cool winter months help to break down the seed casings. By next spring, you'll have big, meaty leaves to transform into braised green dishes and luscious wraps. Aim to plant your spring onion seeds right before the first frost date, and depending on your location, it's better to plant garlic in autumn. Right now is also the right time to get your seeds for carrots, peas, turnips, winter radishes, and spinach in the ground. I'm Kathy Isom, Southeast AgNet.
When it really counts, depend on the source for the latest weather updates, keeping you ahead of the storm. 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
We'll have partly sunny skies today, high 87 to 90, then cleared this evening, low tonight 69 to 71. Saturday will be partly sunny and pleasant, high tomorrow 87 to 90, then mostly sunny and pleasant Sunday with a high of 84 to 86. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Holly Holdren.
You know what you want to do in retirement, but do you know how to get there? Tune in to Coasting into Retirement with Gary Marriage of Nature Coast Financial Advisors, Sunday mornings at 8 to get answers to your retirement planning questions. Plan today so you can do the things you've always dreamt about doing in retirement. Listen Sunday mornings at 8 to Coasting into Retirement with Gary Marriage of Nature Coast Financial Advisors.
Our firm offers insurance services.
Tune in Wednesday, October 20th at 9:35 for Higher Education Happenings. My guest will be Bonnie Hayes and Dr. Jennifer Frines, with opportunities for businesses to collaborate with the College of Central Florida, featuring the Employer Connection webpage. This is excellent information for those interested in business applications and furthering their education. Again, that's October 20th at 9:35, provided by the College of Central Florida and your friends here at WOCA, The Source.